Hello again. I'm here with my third part of my June wrap-up, which will be sci-fi, fantasy, and one, I guess, literary fiction. I have 5 books to cover here. These are the 2 physical books that I read, plus the 3 audiobooks that I read from Terry Goodkind. The Terry Goodkind books, I actually was reading the Sword of Truth series before I actually started BookTube, listening to it on audio actually. And these last 2 books, which were Severed Soul and Warheart, I didn't finish, so I got to finish them this month. I was really glad that I picked them up and actually finished them. I really did enjoy the Sword of Truth series, except for some side books and prequels and stuff like that. I pretty much have read all of the Sword of Truth series. I really do enjoy it. Can't tell you much about the last 2 books, except they are packed with some interesting characterizations, some interesting story plots, and it was very exciting books. Those 2 books were really fun to read. I'm really happy I actually finished them now. The Sword of Truth series starts with Wizard's First Rule. It's about Richard Rahl, who becomes the Seeker, who gets to carry the Sword of Truth. His grandfather is a wizard named Zeb, and then he also has a confessor, who is a person who can touch somebody and have them instantly fall in love with you and able to tell the truth, that she could actually see the truth in people. It's a really good series. I forget what number books they went up to, maybe like 14, 15, something like that. So they've had a lot of books in the series, and I listened to pretty much all of them on audiobook. Really great narrations in most of the books, and I really did enjoy it, and I really enjoyed the last 2 books. I also read Death's Mistress, which is the first book in the Nikki Chronicles, which is kind of a offshoot of the Sword of Truth books. It's a different bunch of characters who have different stories going on. I only read the first book. The second one is out, and the third one's going to be coming out. So once the third one comes out, I'll probably read the other 2. And I enjoyed that, not as much as the last 2 books, but I did enjoy that as well. Terry Goodkind, has some of his detractors in what he's written. They're pretty simple. The good guys are good, the bad guys are bad. There's not too many shades of gray in this story at all. But there's definitely a lot of twists and turns, and there's a lot of interesting characters, and a lot of dark stuff in those books as well. And I just enjoyed reading them. Now, for the physical books that I read, the one literary fiction book I read, Cole Whitehead's The Underground Railroad, which deals with the underground slave trade movement by using a physical railroad. And it follows these characters as they go to different states and the different ways slaves are treated in these different states. And I wasn't crazy about this book. I felt like the actual railroad, while a little bit of a fantastical element added to the story, didn't really do much for me in this story. It wasn't a bad book. I just didn't find it as interesting as I could have liked it. I'll give it like a 3.5, because I did really like some parts of the story and some ways that they described slavery and how it was different in different regions of the country. So I thought that was really interesting. In general, it was a story that I just couldn't get into as much. The last book I'm going to talk about, again, is the 4th book in the Expanse series, which is Cibola Burn. This was a really good book. I really liked that I kept going with the Expanse series. Again, I can't tell you much about what's going on with this story, but it definitely deals with a lot of interesting topics, and it has a lot of action and a lot of political intrigue and a lot of what makes the Expanse series really good. I look forward to continuing with this series and seeing where it goes. So far, I have really enjoyed this series. And those are all the books that I read as far as my sci-fi and fantasy books I read for the month of June. So now I've covered all of the books for the month of June. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.